UK. He'll be on there in about a week's time, along with all the other kind of 90 odd acts that we've had up here in the studio. And King Day's filming it tonight, so it'll be on Facebook, on our Live from the Royal page, and you can go on there and watch it, or on YouTube. Right, have you got a website, Ray?
I haven't. No. I used to have.
Yeah.
I sort of kicked it all over.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell the tax man I'm here, are you?
No, of course not.
No.
That's our little secret.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm on Facebook and that's it, really.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of music pages though, because I was listening to you before I came out.
Were you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a quick search.
I've put a few bits up on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
To be honest, not being somebody to be marketed, not being somebody that's going to get a record deal and get, thousands of screaming fans lining the O2 Arena.
Beatlemania again.
I'm just playing because I enjoy it, and that's it, really.
That's good enough.
And what I say to people, if you want to hear me, come and gig,
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
When's your next gig then?
Well, I don't have one.
Oh.
I don't have one lined up at all.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the Nag's Head in Monmouth, I think,
Yeah.
old Nag's Head, or possibly the Chestnut.
So you just
But
go
I really don't work at it anymore.
so you just saying, well, I fancy going tonight, and that's it, and just go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there's a few places that will phone me up
Yeah.
and say, oh, fancy a gig?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Or a New Year's one, try and get a New Year's one or something. But there are a lot of younger people out there now, and although I enjoy playing, and I know I have the respect of my peers, which is valuable. Pubs on a Saturday night require something slightly different from the tasteful.
Yeah.
You're better off bashing out 3 chords of, well, I won't put any particular genre down, but a happy smiling face, bashing out simple songs that everybody can sing along to is great. It's not my boat. No. And it doesn't matter. I could do a James Taylor, absolutely no perfect, but Saturday night pub, no.
Yeah.
So hence, I tend to go around the quieter venues where you can be heard and where people listen and people join in. And what I really get off on is actually taking something I've written and playing with somebody that's good enough on their instruments that they can add something. Oh yes, I hadn't thought of that. And I know that's possibly, some would be considered a bit anal, but that's where I am. I just enjoy composing. I love coming up with something new. And there are places that do that. There are some really, really good players around.
What about the youngsters then? Who's impressed you and you think, oh, he's got some, she's got some?
Well, some years ago, when the Lamb in West Malvern was still open, there was a young group came up there called Velvet. And I think they were all aged between 18 and 20. The band is no longer, but they've gone their separate ways. But the front man was a guy called Mike Mann.
Oh, yes.
He plays keyboards, very well.
Yeah.
Beautiful voice, great ear, wonderful harmonies.
We can't get him up here. He won't come up here, right?
Oh, he's good. He's really good.
Have a word with him.
He's too good for it.
He's really good. But the thing that amazed me, because for a little while I was lending them my PA because they were so good, and I was sort of going out around the pubs and helping them out. But the thing is that they were big Steely Dan fans. And consequently, that was the stuff they were learning, and you've got to be good to play that stuff. But I mean, they were all good. But Hal Apothecary, the guy that played bass for them,
wonderful,
or did play bass for them, he now plays in Black Russian, and I think they've got a covers band, I think it's called Covered, going at the moment, based out of Recon in Church Street in Malvern. Hal is a fabulous musician, and but also an amazingly good pianist. But the real surprise was Dave Arthur, who was their drummer, one of the best drummers I've come across, because he can play subtly, knows all the jazz fills and everything. But he was actually, and the band would admit it, the best pianist of the lot, and he's currently at the Birmingham Conservatoire. Conservatory, what it is? I was thinking conservatory is something you build on the back of your house. But he's there, and I mean, there's a little thing of him on Facebook recently he's put up of him playing Rachmaninoff.
Wow.
absolutely. You know, these are stunning guys. They, you know, lovely guys as well. You know, they came round and played on my album that never saw the light of day, which we might do one day. But there's so many great musicians. Cy Anthony is probably well known. He's a fabulous songwriter.
Yeah.
Really nice. There's another young guy, well, not as young as the others, but Gareth Forsyth. Beautiful Celtic style guitar, learned in Ireland, I think. I understand it from Roy Harper, but he's got a wonderful style. There's really, really superb musicians about, and of course Worcester has got many. I don't know Worcester as well.
No.
But I mean, Dec Sharma, who,
Yeah.
you know, I know you know, he's a fabulous songwriter, amazing musician, and it's not a gig, it's not a paid gig, but the next time I'll be playing in public that I know for certain will be at the Cellar Bar next Tuesday.
Oh, it's
Bob's
Yeah.
Blues Night.
It's the last one, isn't it, this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't actually do blues very
Right.
well. I've never really been interested in blues. Basically because I'm not a soloist in terms of a whittler. I mean, I have my own style, finger style, but if somebody said, do a sort of solo in the middle of a 12-bar array, I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't know what I was doing. So consequently, people like me are stuck playing 4 chords for 5 minutes, which is not really interesting. So I've never really been into blues.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't help but like the people that are into it.
Yeah.
And Gazza
Yeah.
and Bob himself, these guys, Perry Foster, you know, they're great guys and they love their music. And it's a joy to watch them and to listen to them.
It is. It's a lovely little
But I
thing.
can't join in.
Ah.
But I think Bob likes my playing.
Yeah.
So
That's your
I said I'd go along, and I'll do one of my songs, and I'll slow it down, and I'll alter the first line to start with, I woke up this morning, and I'll fit it. Oh, David Bristow.
Yes, no, I've heard a lot about Mr. Bristol.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I've never spoken to the guy.
No.
He seems very, very shy,
Yeah.
but wow,
Yeah.
wonderful style, fabulous voice.
Yeah. I keep missing him then. I must.
Yeah, well, I never know when he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about people who are listening to this who fancy getting into the music business? Any tips?
Well, I'm not in the music business.
Well, you know, maybe starting in a band or.
I think, well, I would agree with George Martin's comment, which is do original material. You've got to learn covers, because that way, you get to enjoy the stuff that you love, but the second thing is you get into well, how did they do that? What's that chord progression? You know, what's that? Oh, I love that. What was that? You know, and it's an A major 7th going to an E add 9. You know, but you can build those into your own things, and you can learn construct. That's the thing I find that is, you know, a lot of youngsters when they start, it's great to see them. I wish to God there'd been such things as open mics when I was young. There's Malvern and Sport for Choice. Any night of the week, seemingly, you can go to an open mic and play, and people are really welcoming. You know, you can die on your proverbial, and you'll still get a good round of applause. It's like a family.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I remember from being in the church. And the only problem with being in the church was no one would tell you if you sucked. Whatever you did, well, that's great. And I think the challenge for some of the youngsters is to try and do something a little different, do something off the wall. You know, yes, those 2 chords do sound great together, but you know, not for 3 minutes. You know, put a bridge in for God's sake. You know, do it. Put chord change in perhaps. You know, try and learn the craft. Learn the craft of actually writing. You know, the Beatles famously, after they first got their audition, George Martin said, "Go away and listen to some Gershwin." And that's what we should all do. Really. The later, I'm not going to play it tonight because I'm not sure I could play it without mistakes. But I never used to do anything older than 1960. But now I've got one song that was written in the 40s, and but I've been learning. I wish to God my dad was still alive to hear me. But I recently did My Blue Heaven, you know, which I'd never listened to as a teenager. But also A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square. I've just recorded today and sent it to a friend in Ledbury who's a violinist, and we're going to sort of work out an arrangement together. And I thought, I'd do that tonight. And about half an hour before I came out, I thought, I'll just try that. Yeah. And I fluffed it in the middle. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. But they are beautifully constructed melodies. And the fact that they're old, you know, so I looked it up on Wiki, and I thought, who wrote Nightingale? Because when I pulled mine into iTunes as an MP3 before I could send it off, you know, if you've got iTunes, you know, you fill in all the gaps.
Yeah.
And composer, and I thought, well, it's only fair. So I looked it up on Wiki, and I can't remember the guy's name, Manning, I think. But it was written by an American wrote the lyrics, and an Englishman wrote the tune. And they wrote it together in a little fishing village in France, and played it for the locals just before the Second World War broke out. And all the locals didn't think much of it at all. It's little things like that I find fascinating. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Time for another one.
Yes, I'm going to do a song by one of my favourite writers, a guy called Randy Newman, who's just a brilliant musician. Wrote the music for Toy Story, and most people who hear me do this one will say, oh, that's an Alan Price song, because he brought it to Britain, but it's actually a Randy Newman song.